guys, Cyndi Williams here, the Wanderlust CEO. Check out my new ears. I'm trying to make Forky's eye go crazy. Hey, we have so much to talk about today. We're talking about the reopening dates for Disney have been announced for the phased reopening. We're talking about the changes, what is going to be different in the parks and what you need to know. We're also going to be talking about the new reservation system. What is the new reservation system? How is it going to work? And the #1 mistake people are making right now with booking Disney reservations. So let's get into it. Welcome to the show. I wanted to just introduce myself if this is your first video. My name is Cyndi Williams and I have been in the travel industry. I started way back over 25 years ago and I have booked thousands of Disney vacations. I also own and operate my own award-winning travel agency. But today we're here to share with you all of the updates about Disney. So we're gonna start with talking about reopening. So you've probably already heard, but if you haven't, the Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom is going to open on July 11th. A few days later, they're going to be opening Epcot and Hollywood on July 15th. So great news, the parks are going to reopen. But are you going to be able to get in? That's the big question, right? So water parks are also closed, by the way, just to give you a full update about what's going on. And I want to talk about parks, who's getting in first. So basically what Disney has said at this point doesn't mean it's subject to change because they're changing and making alterations pretty much on a daily basis right now. So we're trying to get out updates as fast as we can to everyone. But those that have pre-existing reservations, those of you that have tickets, those of you that have DVC, those of you that are annual pass holders, it's been said that you will get priority on making reservations to get into the park first. Now this only makes sense because if people made reservations for those dates, then obviously they're staying on property, they're planning to go, they're going to be going to the parks, and if you're a pass holder, that's one of the most valued groups where Disney is concerned because those are people that go multiple times, and people that were already planning on going. So of course those groups are going to get some type of priority, and that makes total sense to us, right? But it's also left some questions, right? So what does that mean for the rest of us? Like, when can we find out if there's going to be extra reservations available? We are hoping, there's some indicators, you know, as being an agency owner, we get some updated and behind the scenes information. We're hoping in the next 3 to 4 weeks that rebooking will open. Now, how much space there's going to be, we really don't know yet because of the capacity limitations, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. There's going to be kind of a phase 1 and a phase 2 process in terms of reopening everything where Disney's involved. So we're going to be paying close attention to that. I want to take a minute to say, those of you that already got booked with us or with whatever agent you're working with, we've been talking about this for weeks, the fact that there's going to be, Disney's going to be in demand, and get those deposits in. It's a few $100, couple $100 to get Disney a deposit in, get them booked. So those of you that were listening to us a month or 2 ago and did that, I know you're celebrating right now. I'm celebrating because I had my vacation on the books and we are almost going to be there opening. We're going to be there like a week after they open, so we're really excited and we'll be bringing you all of that information as well. But another reason that's really helpful is because I'm getting all of the updates, right? I know exactly what's going on. This first group is different because we're within 60 days, right, of going at this point, but so some of the new rules are putting in place for that first group. It's not really applying yet, so we'll get into more detail on that here in just a second. So another note that's important is DVC can still book reservations. So if you're a Disney Vacation Club member and you have points, now would be a great time to go ahead and secure those bookings. There's also going to be some soft open opportunities for the parks for pass holders and DVC. They've hinted at that. We don't have dates yet. I am a DVC and an annual pass holder and an agency owner, so we get all the information. So we'll be keeping you guys up to date on that as well. So what changes, now that we've talked about opening, what changes can you expect when the parks reopen? So first and foremost, of course, social distancing measures. Disney has said again and again, the public trusts our brand. We're not going to violate that trust. We're going to do it in a very conservative way, in a very thoughtful and mindful way in terms of reopening. They've also, you know, a lot of people have said, well, why aren't you opening in June like Universal and some of the other parks that are opening? And they said, we have more parks. It's more of a project, right? They have 4 main parks and the 2 water parks, which we know now the water parks aren't opening, but it's a lot of moving parts, a lot of resorts, a lot of dining, a lot of, you know, things to think through. So I think I'm really glad that Disney made the decision that they did to kind of do it in a way where they're not compromising their brand and doing it in a way where they're putting the guests first, right? So I think that's a good thing. So what can you expect from the new social distancing measures? We're watching what's happening over in Shanghai, and then also they've released what will be required here in Disney World. So everyone is going to be required masks. Now, about a week ago, they said everyone 3 and up. That has been updated just in the past few days to everyone 2 and up now has to wear a mask. So that's everyone 2 and up will be required to wear a mask while in the parks. We've heard that there may be areas where you can go like and relax and take your mask off, and then when you're dining you'll be able to take your mask off, but outside of that everyone's going to be required to wear a mask in the park. So keep that in mind. Temperature screenings, you're going to get screened. They're already doing this at Disney Springs, and this will be a process for all of Disney as you get in. Now, this brings up more questions. As an agency owner and someone who books a gazillion Disney trips, I'm wondering, where are the screenings going to take place? Is the monorail going to be open? Is that going to be a screen? So there's so many questions in terms of what the access points. Obviously, there's security points already set up around the whole property. So will they just convert those, or because the monorail is more of condensed space, will the monorail be running? We don't know. We kind of have a few unanswered questions, but we do know they're going to be checking your temperature, and the magic number is 100.4. Your temperature cannot be higher than that in order to get into the park. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. Reduced capacity. So unlike Shanghai, which has a finite number of 30% or less, because that is imposed by the Chinese government, what Disney has said is they are doing mathematical calculations that the number of people they will allow in the park, everybody would be able to have 6 feet or more of space easily. Now, I also think that they're going to, this is totally what I think, it's not reality, but I think during phase 1, they're probably going to have a more conservative, you know, with the first reopen to see how that goes. And then I think they'll work up to that 6 feet as phase 2 opens up. Again, that's a guess, but we will keep watching that for you. But definitely plenty of space, plenty of capacity. And I'm actually really excited about that. So that's a big one. Now, another one that you may be thinking, oh my gosh, and I'm gonna tell you these things and tell you why I think that some of them are actually a positive. There's not going to be fast passes. Fast passes have been canceled. For my trip, we had all of the dining planned, all the fast passes planned. They took them out of the system. The reason they're not doing fast passes is because they're going to open up the fast pass lanes so there can be 2 queues into the attractions and they can social distance easier. So they're going to be kind of recycling the fast pass as another normal queue to get into. So the other thing is that Chapek said, right, the CEO about a week ago, he said, guys, do the math. Most of the attractions are going to be open and we're only allowing a certain amount of people into the park, so you're pretty much going to be able to get on the rides pretty quickly. So I'm really excited about that. And why would you need a fast pass if you can just walk up and get on the ride? And almost frees up and makes your schedule not as regimented as we've had to get to in this world over probably the past 10 years, where there's so many people at Disney every single day that fast passes, if you don't have fast passes, you're not riding the top stuff. So that in this new environment, that's kind of a change, and I think it might be kind of a positive. The other thing is there's no group gatherings. So things like fireworks, parades, character dining, maybe some of the special events that you can book, like Bippity Boppity Boo or the Pirate League. We're not sure if those things are going to be available. We know fireworks, parades, and character dining has definitely been nixed. We're waiting. Again, that's a question on some of the attraction type things that you can book. My son wants to build a lightsaber, so we're really, fingers crossed, hoping that that extra add-on is available, but we'll see. I think Disney's figuring some of those things out right now, what can be social distance and what can't. And so the ones that have question marks will know soon, but we know for sure there's not going to be fireworks, parades, or character dining for a while, pretty much until further notice, and we'll be watching that as well. There's also not going to be magic hours. If there's not, the reason magic hours were created, and that was a bonus for staying on property, is because you could beat the crowds. Well, if there's not crowds, is there really a need for magic hours? So I kind of appreciate that I'll be able to sleep in a little bit more and maybe take more of a restful approach. So, but there's not going to be magic hours. There's not really a need for them, as Disney has kind of hinted at. They also took away dining plans, which was a surprise. And you know, there's a lot that goes into the dining plans and different promotions. Some people were given free dining plan when they rebooked. If you were one of those that rebooked and got a free dining plan, they have now taken those packages and reduced them 35% as compensation for an adjusted offer. And that's kind of where we're at right now. So we're waiting, we're standing by on dining plan, but they're thinking they're gonna bring it back at some point. Of course, like that's very popular, but right now they've just taken it off of the list of things available. The other thing that's important to know is you will, all of the dining plans got wiped. So if you had, not dining plans, so dining plans, yes, are gone, but dining reservations, if you made reservations 180 days in advance for, like, we had Beauty and the Beast Castle, and we had character dining at Crystal Palace, which there is no character dining, right? But is Crystal Palace still going to be open? I don't know. We gotta wait and see. I mean, the food's still good. It's just a relaxed environment. So what Disney did is they took all of the dining reservations and said, we're taking them off the books. We're kind of like hitting the reset button, and we'll allow you to rebook when it's closer to travel. The official booking window has changed. So if you're going in, you know, January of next year, February of next year, it used to be you could book your reservations 180 days in advance, or you could pay an advisor to help you with that process. They've changed that to be 60 days in advance. So you now can only do your dining 60 days in advance. And right now, for that first group that's going in, we still can't go in and do it because we have to use the new reservation system, which isn't open yet. So I'm in the mix of this first group that's going in, so I'll be keeping you guys updated for sure. But I want to talk about, like, what are the upside of these changes? Now, if this was going to be your the one time you came to Disney to bring your family, it might not be the right year for you. I mean, as an advisor, that would be my recommendation, that maybe you hold off until next year when some of the parades come back, the, you know, fireworks, things like that. But if you've been to Disney before and you love Disney, or you're a repeat Disney person, right? There's actually a lot of positives in this situation. Less crowds. No fast passes required. You can sleep in because you don't have to run for magic hours. You can actually, like, enjoy your vacation. There's gonna be a lot less little kids there, a lot less strollers, because the parents, you know, the big things like shows and fireworks and parades will be a segment that Disney's not appealing to right now, and that's okay. But there are plenty of people, like my kids are a little bit older, we haven't sat down for fireworks or a parade in years. So they're like, we can just go and ride the rides and we don't have to plan everything like super in advance. And it's refreshing. It's kind of like stepping back in time to where when Disney had a lower volume of people every day and having that experience, but with all the attractions that are available.
Wait. Hold up, Disney. Let me get this straight. So less crowds, probably not a lot of little kids there. No lines or crowds because of parades. Don't have to even make fast passes because I can just walk on the rides, and I can sleep in because no magic hours. Yes, please.
So it's not all bad, guys. I really don't think it is. And if anything, I feel like a lot of people feel like they have a golden ticket if they have a reservation, because there are still plenty of people that want to go to Disney. So let's talk about this new reservation system. We don't know a lot about the new reservation system yet. We know that, like I said, fast passes have been canceled, dining has been canceled. Mine were still on there a few days ago, but I logged in today and they're gone. So they have, you know, followed through on what they said they were going to do and wiped all the dining and fast pass reservations out. And then what they're going to do is they're going to reopen it, right? So they're going to decide which attractions, which things that can be booked. You know, they're not going to reopen it for fast passes, but for dining is what I'm specifically talking about. And things like, if Bippity Boppity Boo, or if building the droids, the lightsabers, some of those special events, we have to wait and see if those will be available on this new reservation system. That will be kind of a big day when that thing goes live, is to go, what do you want to get? And what you should be thinking about is, what dining do I want and what special things do I want, and look for those first. If you're working with our agency, of course, we already have you taken care of. But at any rate, I think it was the best way to do it, is to kind of wipe the slate clean, because if you booked a certain reservation, let's take Crystal Palace for example, because Winnie the Pooh is going to be there, but now there's no characters, so maybe I want to eat at the Liberty, right? Or maybe you do want to stay there. Like, one of our favorite restaurants in Epcot is the Garden Grill, because they serve food that they grow right there in Epcot, and it kind of rotates around. We would still go to the Garden Grill. Some families wouldn't though, because Mickey and the Chip and Dale and Goofy and, you know, the whole gang's not going to be there. So it allows people to reassess based on the new information where and what dining they might want to book, and if they want to make different choices, then no one's getting angry because they're like, well, now it's not going to have characters and I didn't get this other thing. So it's really the only choice that they had, I think. And because again, the volume's going to be lower, I don't think people are going to have a problem booking the things that they want. So we'll see how that goes. Again, we'll be keeping you updated on that. Reservations also will be required for visiting the park. I feel like this one has brought even more questions. Like, we know we have to make a reservation. We know if you're staying on property, if you're a pass holder, if you're DVC, you will kind of have priority, because obviously if you're staying on property, you're coming to go to the park. So of course they're going to give those people preference for making the reservations for where they want to go. Now, one of the big questions I ask as an advisor and agency owner is, okay, how are park hoppers going to work? What if I want to hop over to Hollywood, or want to hop over to Epcot? Do I have the ability to register in 2 parks? Can you register for half day? What if your plans change? Is there going to be, people like pass holders and resort guests going to have the ability to change their schedule while they're in travel? Because sometimes that happens, like, it's rainy over here, so let's go to this other place. So those are big questions. And then annual pass holders have the ability to hop anywhere they want. That's part of the reason you have an annual pass. So will they have to register in the same, we know they have to register, but are they going to have the ability to park hop, I guess, is the biggest question. So we're waiting on those answers from Disney, and there'll be more to come on that, so stay tuned. Let's see what else we have here. Phase 2, when we talk about phase 2, opening space to people beyond the priority group. So once this first group is kind of taken care of, when will you get to, like, if you don't have a Disney reservation on the books from now to the end of the year, it doesn't mean you're not going to be able to book. We're actually anticipating in the next 3 to 4 weeks, we'll be able to start making reservations again. And that is not a set timeline. That's just kind of what we're hearing as agency owners. We get a little bit of information that's helpful behind the scenes to get a timeline on that. But what I really want you to think about is there's a big supply and demand issue right now. This is like, getting into Disney is like getting a Willy Wonka golden ticket, right? Like, do I get to go? So there are going to be caps on how many people can get in. There are going to be priorities on some people get to get in and some people don't. So make sure that you're paying attention, following everything that comes out from us. And then if you're working with us already, a lot of our clients already had deposits and they have vacation because they listened to the counsel we gave. It's okay if you didn't, no worries. I know a lot of people are sitting back to see how things are gonna go. But if you've decided now, I wanna go to Disney, oh my gosh, what should you be doing? So this brings me to the #1 mistake that people are making right now as general consumers. You are absolutely crazy not to be working with a travel agent right now for your Disney vacation or any vacation. So, and whether you work with my company or not, I'm actually going to give you a list here in a minute of a ton of great companies that you can work with. I do a lot of advocacy work as a travel agent expert, and sometimes we get to capacity and we can't even take all the requests we get in. But the reason you're crazy not to work with a travel agent right now is because the information is changing daily. Every day something changes, like, oh, masks are age 2 now and not age 3. Okay. Oh, a Spaceship Earth is on the refurb list, and oh, it's not on the refurb list, and oh, this is how the new reservation system works, or oh, there might be property closures and are people getting shifted. There's so many moving parts. it's insane to keep up with if you do it every day, but I can't imagine if you have a life and kids and a job. You need to have an advisor do this for you. And why wouldn't you? It doesn't cost you any more to work through a travel agent. A lot of people don't realize that. They think they're gonna have to pay a whole bunch more to work with an advisor. That's not true. Disney pays us. Whether you go through Disney directly or you go through a travel advisor, they pay us a commission after you travel. If you don't go through an agent, they just keep the extra money. And the other thing is the travel industry had a huge tough time over the last few months. Why wouldn't you want to support someone's family? Even if you've never used a travel agent before, I want you to raise your hand and give back in that way. It's no extra money out of your pocket, and you're going to get better service, and you're going to be in the know. And the other reason is, just because you book a reservation with Disney, you may have done that 30 times before as a pass holder, as a DVC person. Here's the thing. Just because you make the reservation, it's not make the reservation and just show up anymore. It's make the reservation and things could change 10 times before you go, right? We have reservation systems, this changing, this isn't open now, there's so many moving parts. It's gonna be like a full-time job and trust us, because we have so many trips on the books, we know what's going on. But what if they decide not to do the lightsaber thing? What if this park's not open now? What if this happened? Your advisor is going to handle all of that for you, keep you abreast of the information, keep your trip on track, make sure they're watching out for your best interests and making alterations when and if they need to happen. It's so much easier, you guys, I promise. So even if you've never used an advisor before, now is the time. You can go to Wanderlust CEO /TA list. That's my list of recommended agencies. And there are a lot of Disney ones that focus just on Disney on there, which are great too. All of the people on that list I know personally, and they're all amazing. So you can't go wrong with anyone on that list. Think about reaching out to them to book your next vacation, please, and support their families. That's a big help to all of us right now. So I hope this video was helpful for you guys. I know everyone's gonna ask where I found the ears, so check that I'll put that in the comment information below. And I'm gonna be heading out to Disney with my family, and I'm so excited to share with you in July how that goes. We're gonna be keeping you updated on what it really feels like to get into this new Disney environment, and is it what we're thinking or is it different? So we'll be on the job for you. So I love you guys. I wish you so much love, so much abundance. I wish you the world. We'll talk soon. Bye guys. Hey guys, Cindy here from Tripsy Travel. If you haven't already checked out our other videos, make sure you do. We have so much amazing content to share with you on our travels, room tours, different events that we go to, and all the things that we're doing all over the world. So make sure you check that out. Bye guys.